Hi Jessica, it's nice seeing you for the second time. I was there and you visited a year before for Red Sea Film Festival. तो अभी मैं पहुंचा हूँ रेड सी सोक, जहाँ की आज जेसिका अल्वा आ रही है in conversation. So I'm going to see that chat. Let's see how it is going.
From Hollywood icon to visionary entrepreneur, she was the youngest Latina to take a company public. Now, with her own production company and starring in the new Netflix film, Trigger Warning, Jessica Alba is rewriting the rules again.
Please welcome Jessica Alba!
Jessica's just had an amazing career, has earned over $800 million at the box office. She's the author of several books. She's an entrepreneur. And I'm really excited we're getting to talk to her now because she's starting an exciting new chapter in her life, which is starting her own production company. So we've got a lot to talk about. Please help me welcome Jessica Alba.
Hi, good morning.
Jessica, thank you, first of all, just for being here. Thank you so much for coming to Jeddah.
What a beautiful country, culture, city.
Yes, sending love to Jeddah at the start.
100%.
But you've always been someone, I think, showing women a new path in Hollywood. And now what you're doing with that is you've started your new production company, Lady Metalmark. And why was now the right time to start that?
Well, I spent, I would say, probably 12 years on my business, The Honest Company. I took it public. I brought in a new CEO. I got her kind of settled, and then I was like, all right, great. I get to go and go back into the thing that really is my passion, and that's storytelling. I think there's nothing more powerful of a medium to open people's minds, to open people's hearts. And for me, it's where we get to dream. It's where we get to see what's possible. And for me as a little kid, I was very sick. When I was a kid, my parents didn't have much money, and I spent a lot of time in the hospital. And I remember watching movies and TV shows, and I would always fantasize that I could be the superhero and that I was one of these larger-than-life characters. And I think because there are no boundaries on what's possible in storytelling and filmmaking, it really, and as children, when your minds don't understand limitations, it allowed me to really expand what was possible for me. And so I would say that was my first impression on what I could be when I grew up. And I was able, even though I was a sickly kid in hospital, I was able, by the age of 19, for all intents and purposes, Dark Angel she was a superhero. She was a superhuman, that's for sure. And I got to play someone that had the strength that defied, humans and cat-like reflexes, and I got to live in this sort of futuristic reality and tell a very honest and human story. And so that, I think, is always going to be my passion, and I believe it's why we're all here.
What can you tell us about this? Is it quite action-y?
It is quite action-y, yeah. It's fun, and we actually shot on the Gold Coast, and I wanted to build sort of like a rom-com inside of this action genre. And so it's a fun relationship movie where these two people come from two completely different sides of the world, and they crash together, and they have to figure out how to get out of it in one piece and work together, even though initially they really don't get along. And it just reminds me of sort of like those classic beautiful relationship movies like Romancing the Stone.
Oh, I love those.
Or Moonlighting, that show. These are all before anybody's time here, but some of the classics.
Started shooting the show. James Cameron picked you out of 1,000 hopeful actresses. I mean, how did it feel when you got that call, first of all?
I mean, it was unbelievable. It's sort of one of those moments where I was like, God answered my prayers, because I got my GED when I was 16, and I basically gave myself 2 years to really see if this was a career I could do for a living. And then when I got the call to do Dark Angel, I was like, okay, God, I guess this is the calling that I'm supposed to do it. And I worked really hard. I spent almost 2 years training for it. So maybe that's why I like action so much, because I was like physically trained for it for 2 years. And yeah, Jim gave me a seat at the table. He never made me feel less than. I literally was there. We got to formulate the characters.
You were in the writing room.
I was in the writing room.
Which is amazing.
Jim and Charles Egley, and they let me at 17 take up space and have a say and feel like my voice mattered.
That's amazing.
And so, having allies, having men that see that we can be equal to them and hold space for us is so important. And he's been really a mentor and someone that I've kind of like a guardian angel my whole life, my whole career.
Hi Jessica, it's nice seeing you for the second time. I was there and you visited a year before for RSFF Film Festival. So my question is that how much things have changed in Hollywood since you joined? You talk about people of color and women. So how do you see the things have changed over the years in Hollywood?
I would say I was pitching this movie with Robert Rodriguez recently, and I think what's really changed is the people in charge have data to show that certainly when it comes to people of color and primarily the Latino audience, that is completely untapped. I would say for all intents and purposes, in a really commercial way, that they matter, that this audience matters. And I would say that with the success of certain projects and certain things that are outside of the norm, and when those things do really well, it just forces them to, they can't turn their backs on the reality that there is, there are people that don't look like what they thought people should look like, that need to start starring in films, and we need to start telling those stories. And so they're not just receptive to it, but it's now like a business initiative that they have to start listening and doing things a bit differently. And then the streamers, I mean, frankly, we didn't have streaming when I started in the business. And this has opened it up so that there are a lot more opportunities for different stories to be told, because they're not as expensive to make. And before, everything was guided by your weekend box office, and there's only so many weekends in a year. And without those restrictions, it just gives more filmmakers, more storytellers a better shot.
Thank you.
That's great. Let's go.